Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I have returned. Um, Not going to be a very big video tonight. More of a thing of an apology and a, ooh, what is he building? You know, that kind of thing. So, I've been away doing projects that I've just kind of come up with, and it took off like gangbusters. It's not done yet, but I have a big reveal for you guys. Not necessarily a whole big reveal of, hey, this is going to be ready in a couple of weeks. It's literally going to be a process. It might be ready in about a week and a half, depending on how things go. But even then, I have some people that are going to be helping me test it. Thank you guys in advance and you know who you are. But without further ado, let's get into it. I want you to see what I've been building. So, I had a bit of trouble with Plex. Alright, while I was on vacation, and it would not play for me. Let me show you what I mean. And I wasn't the only one having this trouble. Apparently, it was kind of all over town. And what it was doing, I don't know if I'll be able to get it to do it now or if it's having problems. But right now, this is the app that I use. Multimedia Plex amp. That's the one that I use for music on my stuff. When I... There we go. Just to show you, that's kind of what I use on my phone. This is on my phone. So, yeah, this was actually doing... Let me see if I can demonstrate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But it was literally doing that. It was fasting forward through all the tracks, and I wasn't able to actually play it. So, let me show you what I've been building. We're gonna show you. This is cool. This is my latest project. This right here. May I introduce you, my friends, to something we call Lute Play. That's LUTEPLAY. And it's a private secret project I've been working on, but I'm going to give you a little demonstration of how it works. So we have the search library function. This is the only thing that works right now. I'll demonstrate that in a little bit. We have the browse music function, which is it's gonna be artists, albums, folders, search, back, and I'm gonna click choose an option and I'm gonna go back. This is bare bones basic right now. Liberty Radio coming soon. Loot Play Store coming soon. If you typed in any of the ones that had the artists, albums, folders, search, and back, they would all be coming soon. And I know some of you guys with the dirty minds are gonna say, that's what she said when I say the words coming soon. Okay, let's get it all out the way. So, Um, right now, all that works is the search library. I want to show you that it works. So I'm going to type in the one artist I know that I can play and not get in trouble. Okay, so this is Tom McDonald, and we can choose a song number. So let's do I'm trying to find one I know that I like instead of this. You know what? Let's do search library. What's a good Tom McDonald song? I'm trying to find one that you guys might enjoy. The only one I can think of is, but I don't actually have that on my system right now. I bought it, but preparation's a pain in the butt. You know what? I remember this one. Feel Better, and this is number 2. I think this is the Alright, that's all I've got for you, and I hope you enjoyed the explanation. of why I've been away for so long, why I haven't updated this channel for a few days. That's literally what I've been doing. I've been trying to build these things. And like I said, it's a rough draft, but it works! I built it myself, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I say myself. I gotta be honest. I did have help from AI, not in the sense of coding it for me, okay? I literally just straight up, I asked it how to do the programming language, which is Python. That's what I used to build this, and the AI basically guided me through it step by step. I typed the code out myself. I actually did every step that I could on my own. I typed it painstakingly. And you know what? It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought this was going to take me, just this step was going to take me months and months and months. But right now, I literally have the ability right now that I'm actually going to be working on. Let me show you what I'm going to be working on. I'm going to be working on this menu right here. Not this menu. Let me go back to the main menu. Sorry guys, back to the main menu. Literally, I'm going to be working on this right here. The artists, albums, folders, search, back. Right? So literally that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be, that's the next step. And I was going to do some of that tonight, but I got home so late because like I literally got home at 7:30, 8 o'clock, just because that's when things that I was doing got up and at 'em. And don't get me wrong, I am not actually going to be depending on AI for all of this forever, okay? Not even for the teaching, because I'm not taking a hard stance against AI, but AI should be the occasional tool to look something up. It should not be, I've said it before and I'll say it again, this AI stuff should not be the end-all be-all. It should not be something that replaces human creativity and human ingenuity. Because, let me tell you this story, ladies and gentlemen. Let me show you the code briefly. You get a peek behind the curtain tonight. How do you feel about that? It don't matter how you feel about that. How you feel about that is not going to depend on whether you got a peek behind the curtain or not. So, nano loop play. Literally, okay, this is the big old line, and I typed most of this code myself. I tried to type every iota, but you know, there's sometimes literally I've messed up and had to copy and paste what I've already done multiple times. This coding stuff is not for the faint of heart. That's why I'm also developing something that will help me and other people in the future to make coding simpler and easier to manage. Not in the sense of it's going to replace coding itself. But it is going to make coding easier in the fact that it's going to show you where you're screwing up. And I think that's very important to do. But I'm going to show you where the AI messed up tonight and how I had to talk it out of making a mistake. And this is a story that shows exactly why AI is not the end-all be-all. And this will kind of go on 3 different playlists. Adventures in Tech, and Freedom in Gaming at the very least, and it may be a Noob's Guide to Linux, even though it's Python. That will increase the probability that you guys will see this and watch. But here's the deal. Here's what I had to do. This little line of code right here, the AI had me type that in, and because it wasn't running the code like it was supposed to, and I opened the I basically did a command that allowed it to see the different sections of code, and so I finished that, and it said, before we go, you've got another bit here that's kind of a duplicate. You might want to actually do this in such a way that you delete that. And what it was talking about was this bit of code right here, right? This bit of code right here encircles this bit of code right here without one of these sets of code. The whole program would not work. So let this be a lesson to you guys. Don't just rely on computers. Don't just rely on calculators. Do as much as you can on your own. Because if you don't do as much as you can on your own, guess what's going to happen? Everything you have, everything you own, is eventually going to fall down around your shoulders. That's part of the reason I'm doing as much as I am, trying to learn so much to do in-house. So, with that being said, I want to thank you guys for watching, but that is what I've been doing. When this loop play is stable, when it is stable enough, by the way, stable does not mean, okay, let me show you. Stable does not mean that it's going to continue looking like this. Loop play will have its own design. It will have its own logo. It will have your average normal, like, it will look like, hang on, let me look at VLC. I don't know exactly how it's gonna look, but there will be a GUI kind of like this. There will be a play button. There will be a skip. There will be a stop. There will be another skip at the very least. There will be tabs, sort of to kind of allow you guys to do your own thing. Yes, you could just download VLC Media Player, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't like the way VLC Media Player is set up. And the reason I don't is it takes, like, there's a whole method to making playlists on VLC Media Player that I'm just not the biggest fan of. I'm just not. And the reason I'm not is it just doesn't work properly. It doesn't look like the average create a playlist. And the reason that I started doing this, like I said, the app for PlexAmp with Haywire, and when I tried to look up the problem and tried to fix it, the problem that I got, number one, I had to open a browser to actually get it working. And when I opened up that browser, it wasn't plain English that I saw. It was gobbledygook, computer gobbledygook. And there was no, like, email or anything, despite the fact that I am a subscriber to this. I pay for this service. And, like, the one thing that existed that would have told me is a forum. And here's the thing about forums, hardly anybody checks the forums. Like, you go to a product, you don't check the forums 9 times out of 10. Unless you're extremely desperate to make something work. The thing about it is, I have a MP3 player that I can make it work. I have other ways of doing this kind of stuff. I have VLC Media Player, which works. And so I'm like, okay, I'll make it work. But at the same time, half the time, I was worried about the problem that I was solving because I thought it was me. And I do have a problem with part of my computer. It runs, but I can't access it. The display will not show up on the other side, so I'm gonna have to figure that out at some point. But I just said, how easy would it be to make a media player? And I'm like, well, how easy would it be? And I started asking questions to the computer, and I said, how easy would this be? They're like, oh, pretty easy. You just have to learn a little bit of this and do this and that. And I said, you know what? I'll give it a go. And I was prepared for this to take months and months to actually get off the ground, but here it's functioning and it's actually working to some extent to where I'm actually to the place where I'm developing like menu options and where the search functions allowing me to look up artists and play music and stuff. And there will be options on there that will help me get other functions off the ground. And I will be announcing those with the alpha and with the basic beta. And when you guys decide, if you guys decide you want to help me out with that, you can. I will be looking at different independent artists here in the future to help me with some of these things. So if you're an independent artist, please don't be afraid to leave a comment down below. Basically, it's going to be, the deal is going to be coverage. Like, you're going to get links to all of your stuff put in the description of this particular player in certain functions when I manage to get them up and running. I'll just need you on a list and I will contact you with the details when I get closer to doing that. Right now it's just a fancy media player that will eventually be much more fancy and much more amazing than it is currently, that you can go and you can download and you can play around with, and it will be eventually an alternative to the iPod and Apple iTunes and all this other stuff. I am actually going to develop, eventually when I get enough money to do so, a device, and it's going to have a bunch of cool features. I'm going to have a lot of demonstrations, and I hope you guys will be along for the ride. I will see you guys when I can for the next episode, which might be an episode of Freedom in Gaming. Because that's just the way it's going to be planned out. And I apologize for the lack of gaming content on this channel. I know I call myself the Gamer Bard, but I literally decided to do a whole big bunch of projects all at once, and it just kind of happened that way. So hopefully I'll get back to the gaming stuff that you guys love. And until then, you guys have a good one. I'll see you next time. Peace.